same old place that you laughed about. Well, the names have all changed since you hung around, but those dreams have remained and they've turned around. Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Who'd have thought they'd lead you? Right here where we need you. Here where we need you. Yeah, the teasing like that, 'cause we got him on the spot. Welcome back.
What up, shipmates? What up, future shipmates? I'm back. Did you miss me? I missed you guys too. I've been gone for a while, and I'll just go ahead and explain the reason why I've been away. All right, so right after my last video, I was a little tired, and everything. So I decided to take a couple weeks off just to rejuvenate and get ready for the next set of videos. But during that time span, unfortunately, I had a family member that passed, and it was a tough time. When people pass, it's always a tough time for everybody. So, I took some time, to be around family and everything, and it was very emotional. So, right when I was, about to get ready to start going back to the videos, I started feeling bad, started feeling ill. So, I had to take some time, mentally and physically to get myself back together as well. So once I recovered from my little, sidetrack, and everything, I have my son came home with his wife and my granddaughter. And they was here for a couple weeks. Well, about 3 weeks. Three weeks, I think it was. And during that time, I'm playing with the grandbaby, she, Papa, no, Papa this, no, and she putting up a heck of a fight, man. But, at the end, I won her over. So that's my granddaughter. Shouts out to my little granddaughter. Shouts out to my daughter, and shouts out to my son. I love you guys. And, I kind of hurt my back a little bit, but, I'm still recovering. And then, of course, family members showed up, my granddaughter, my baby, so. But now it's time to get back to you guys because I heard you. I got a lot of text messages. Hey, man, what's going on? When you going to cut some more videos? I got phone calls, and stuff like that. So I know you got, even though the analytics don't say it, but I know you guys been watching. So I truly appreciate it. So that's why I decided to go ahead and pick up from where I left off at. All right, so let's get started. I think where we left off at was I was in San Diego. Exactly. I was in Sand Dog. They took the leash off, and now I'm in San Diego. So that first weekend there, I stayed on base, and I got a chance to meet my shipmates, who ended up becoming my partners, my friends, for the next 2.5 years. And I'm not going to name their names, but I'm going to call them by their nicknames. So you had NC, obviously he was from North Carolina, Sleepy, which we're going to talk about him later on, but he was part of the clique at the time. Ray, Kaz, we used to call him Kaz or Ray. I'm going to talk a little bit about him also. It was A-Train, of course, myself, and, I never forget this person right here. Tartar Sauce. Tartar Sauce, what's happening, my man? Tartar Sauce. So just to give you a little perspective dynamic, it was a diverse group, okay? With this video right here, like I said, I'm in San Diego, so I want you guys to understand. When I start talking about what's going on, it's going to be it's titled After the Watch for a reason. I'm not going to talk about what went on during the watch, while I'm on the ship, what the engine room layout looked like. I'm not going to divulge any of that information because, for one, you never know. And I love my Navy, I love my country, I love my people. And I'm not gonna put them in harm's way just trying to tell a story, okay? So I would never divulge that information like that because, for one, I don't want to get in trouble, and for two, I don't want nobody to get hurt. So all of my stories are gonna be after the watch, on Liberty Call, away from the ship. I may talk about certain things that happened while on the ship, but I'm not gonna be talking about what's inside the ship, top secret information and stuff like that. So, if you were one of those spies, thought you were gonna get in there and get some of that information and take it back to the Chinese or whoever, no, not here. You won't get it here, okay? You won't get it over here. I just want to put that out as a disclaimer. It's gonna be after the watch, okay? So with that being said, if you looked at the thumbnail, you yeah, okay, so we're gonna talk about that. Okay, so that Monday morning is at Morning Mustard. That's when I found out that my boy Boston wasn't gonna be on the ship. What happened was our detailers, they're so busy trying to put people in positions and places that they basically overmanned our ship. So he had to go to another ship, but he was still in, which I found out later on, but he was still gonna be in Hawaii, but just on a different ship, okay? So I found that out that Monday morning. While we was in San Diego, our ship was being built in Maine, okay? It was being built up in Maine. So we obviously, after muster, we had to go to our sister ship, which is an exact duplicate of our ship, so we could learn, you know, our jobs and things. Because so far, all we've been was in school. So now that we're actually in the fleet, we got to learn what we got to do. So we actually would shadow our sister ship and see what their day-to-day routine, what's going on, and learn what we're gonna eventually be doing. So we would walk the ship, trace the plant, you know, and basically talk to them and ask questions, because you know they've been in a couple years, they've been out to sea and back and stuff like that. So we were gaining that knowledge. So when it's time for us to get out there, we'll know what we supposed to be doing. We'll go to morning muster. We will change it to our coveralls. We'll go to our sister ship. We will walk the plant, learn some stuff, do some assignments and stuff like that. Go to lunch. We'll either eat on their ship, or we would go off the ship and go to McDonald's or whatever, grab a bite to eat, come back, you know, for another muster, go back to the sister ship, wrap up everything, help them clean up, and then we'll go back to the barracks. Routine. It was nice. It was nice because we didn't have watches, we didn't have anything to do but that. So it was basically, it was more on the job training than anything. All right. So that first Monday, Tuesday, and then when we get, you know, done, we would change it to our street clothes and we'll hang out on the base because we still haven't been anywhere yet. This is the very first week, okay? Okay, so by Wednesday, you know, we're asking questions and everybody's saying, yeah, man, everybody normally hang out at the base club. He said the base club be jumping on the weekends. Like, what? Why would we want to stay on base and go to a base club on the weekend? They're like, nah, man, you gotta understand, the base is open. It was like on the weekends, civilians come to the base then, okay? 9/11 destroyed all of that, okay? So don't even think about it. But back then, the base club was where it was jumping. So they was like, yeah, man, y'all got some good clothes to wear at the club? We're like, yeah, you know, we straight, you know, and everything. So when we was walking around the base, I started picking up subtleness because we was in like regular, you know, Navy gear, basically. Navy shirt, sweatpants, some flip-flops and some shoes, regular shoes, nothing fancy. So we went over to the next, which is the exchange for civilians, the Navy exchange. I went over to, I'm only gonna talk about what I did. Okay, so I went over to the Navy exchange and I went and purchased me some outfits. Now, when I left North Carolina, I had bought me some fresh gear, but that's East Coast style. I'm on the West Coast now. So I wanted to, you know, kind of blend in a little bit. So I went to the next and I bought me some nice little gear, you know, just to get me started because I wanted to observe the civilians to see what they was wearing and then, you know, make my adjustments as needed, which coincidentally I did that everywhere I went. So I was always fresh. So that Wednesday, you know, I stopped by the next, I got me some gear. I remember what I got because in my mind, I had this fresh Tar Heel outfit that I had just bought. We had just won a national championship. I bought it when I got back to North Carolina, so it was authentic. It was brand new. I never wore it when I was at home. I said, I'm gonna break that bad boy out there first weekend. I'm getting ready to shock the world, boy. I'm getting ready to come up in that thing clean to death with some Carolina gear. The only thing was that I didn't have no shoes to rock with it. So that's one reason why I didn't wear it back at home. So when I got to California, I'm in the exchange and I saw it across the room. Carolina blue Chuck Taylors. These Chucks right here. Oh, they were sweet. I said, I gotta get, that's gonna just set off the entire outfit, okay? So I went ahead and bought those Carolina shoes, right? And took them back. Nobody knew I had them. Put them up, stored them away. Had my sweatsuit ironed out clean, ready to rock and roll for that Friday, okay? So that Friday roll around, you know, we get up, we all link up together, and it was like, okay, what we're gonna do? We're gonna go to the base club, right? I said, yeah. I said, well, let's go change. So I go upstairs, take a shower, change into that fresh gear, right? Come to find out, when I get downstairs, Carolina, he from North Carolina also. He had on the same type of Carolina outfit, but it didn't match mine. Mine was Carolina blue. His was the white and blue, okay? So he was like, oh, man. I know, right? I said, well, I came down first, so you got to go change. So he went on upstairs and changed, and he came out. He had on something else. I forgot what he had on, but he had on something else, and it was fresh. It was tight. So when we walk into the club, all eyes shifted to us. I was like, never seen this guy, never seen that guy, you know. So, you know, we kind of feeling good. We smelling ourselves. The females checking us out and everything. And so we get up in the base club. We order us a couple drinks. Now, back then, we ain't gonna talk about it. We just had us a couple drinks. And we had a good time. You know, after a while, you know, you get tired of talking to the same people, right? So I said, I'm going to go mingle. So I slid off to the side. You know, I want to go meet me, you know, talk to some females, you know, meet some females and everything. So I met this young lady, you know, and, you know, ordered a drink. We had a couple drinks or whatever. And we were talking, getting to know one another. So this is about, I don't know, about 10 o'clock by this time, somewhere around that time frame. And, you know, I was like, hey, let me, you know, see if I can't, you know, make a move, see what's going on. So I said, hey, you know, is there somewhere else we can go so we can, you know, get to know each other a little bit more? She was like, yeah. I said, okay, cool. She was like, okay, California is totally different from North Carolina. The women out there are more liberal. That's the best way to say it. Okay, I'm not politicizing, okay? They're just more open than the conservative people from North Carolina, okay? So she was like, straight up, you know, we can come back to my place and we can hang out at my place for a little bit. I was like, oh, bet. I said, you got your own place? They're like, yeah, not too far up the road. I said, okay, bet. So I went back and told my home, I said, look, man, I met this chick, you know, blah, blah. We're going to kick it. We're going to hang out a little bit. And we're going to slide back up to her place. They're like, Trey. You know, they started dapping me up and everything. Yeah, okay, cool. That's what's up. What y'all getting ready to get into? They're like, we're going to go over to the bowling alley. I said, yeah, I'll catch y'all later. Peace. So I rolled out, you know, met back up with her. So we rolled out. Tired of booking a ride service only to have them cancel at the last minute? Or booking the same trip to the same location and the price is different every single time? If you find yourself in the Raleigh-Durham, North Carolina, or surrounding area, please call Ready Riders, powered by Ready for All Services. Here's what makes us different. Once you lock in a price for a single ride or multiple rides, that's what you'll pay every single time. In other words, no surprises, no guessing, just dependable pricing, so you can budget your rides with confidence. We also specialize in airport transportation as well as corporate events. If you're a travel nurse, flight crew, or business professional on the go, Ready Riders is designed just for you. Reliable rides, consistent pricing, and dedicated driver you can depend on. We also proudly serve students, military members, and families traveling on vacation. That makes every ride safe, simple, and stress-free. Unlike other rideshare services, you'll have your own dedicated driver. This means safety, trust with a lasting relationship built on dependability. For your convenience, we accept all forms of payment. Call us today at 919-444-8518 or visit us online at readyforallservices.com. And as always, Ready Rider, where your ride is more than a trip, it's a relationship.